Welcome to Company Growth TV. My name is Jeff Martin. I'm your company growth coach. And today we're going to talk about selling your company. The truth is, at some point, we have to either sell our company, hire somebody to run it, pass it down to the next generation, or close the doors and walk away. And I'm not going to let you close your doors and just walk away. So let's talk about what it's going to take to sell your company, whether it's 2 years from now or 20 years from now. I want you to think about this. This is you, and you own your company, and everything is going great. Your company's here, you're happy, you're doing what you do, or maybe you're not that happy and you want to get out of it. Again, you want to sell it at its optimal price at the time that's right for you. But oftentimes we look at our companies and our heart is in it. It's kind of like our baby, and you never let your baby die. So you're willing to do whatever it takes. But we have to admit, we see our company from a totally different perspective. And when you go to sell your company, you got to think about the people over here that want to buy your company. I look at this like there's a fence, and this is me running my company, and these are all the people that might want to buy it. Now, this guy, he's the one with all the money, and he's got several businesses. He is invested, and he's got a portfolio of companies. And so what he's looking for is different than what we may think he's looking for. He's looking for an investment. He wants to get a return on his money. And so when he's looking at your business, he doesn't have the emotional baggage or the emotional history that you have with it. So I want to talk with you about the 5 things that we have to overcome prior to selling it if we want to get the optimal price and we want to sell it at the right time. I'm going to call these problems, but we can overcome these things. The first one is people problems. Look, if we have people problems, we're never going to be attractive to somebody else. And what I mean by that is both your leadership and your team members. We have to have everybody rowing in the same direction. They have to see your vision. They have to believe in the mission of the company, and they have to be able to do what you want them to do. Your people need to be engaged in the mission of the company, contributing every single day. And the second problem that we run into is math. You know what? If the numbers don't work, you're never going to sell this company. The third problem we have to solve is strategy. The fourth is systems. Our systems have to run when you're not doing the day-to-day. And then finally, the fifth problem we have to overcome is execution. I have just learned that everything revolves around being able to execute. So let's get into each one. Let's talk about people. Our people are critical. It always comes down to people. We're looking at our leadership in the company, which includes you. We're looking at all the team members and even our customers. If we're not attracting the right people, leadership, team members, or customers, we're not going to last very long. And I will tell you, like I said, this is a problem we have to solve, because anybody looking to buy the company, they're not going to want to deal with leadership problems. They're not going to deal with team members. And if we're not attracting the right customers, we are not going to be attractive to anyone who wants to purchase it. The next problem we have to solve to be attractive to any buyer is math. The numbers have to work. We're talking about profits. We're talking about revenue, your headcount, your profits. This is critical, because that's probably what they're going to base everything on, is your profits that you're making. Of course, they'll do a multiplier on that, where they may give you 5 to 10 times what's called EBITDA, and we can talk about that. Your revenue actually is probably less important. This is sort of sometimes ego-driven, but it also relates to your profit. But you're gonna want your revenues up there to maximize your opportunity when you go to sell the company. Then your headcount. Obviously, if your numbers don't work and you have too many people and the money is just flying out the window, we're going to have to reduce the headcount, become more efficient, and do more with fewer people, because they don't want to buy a ton of people. Like I said, we just talked about the people problems, and the odds go up with the more people that we have. The numbers really have to work with your products too. So your products affect the profit margin, but you might find that we just have too many products. We're offering too many things. And so the numbers, the pluses and the minus really do impact what we're able to do and how attractive we're going to be for somebody else. The next one we want to talk about is your strategy. There are many different types of strategy. You have a growth strategy, you have a profit strategy, you have a sales strategy, marketing strategy. There's a lot that goes into your strategy, but they're going to look at every single one of them. How you deal with growth and how you've decided to expand and grow your company is going to tell them a lot about your thinking, what your company can do, especially when they purchase you. This is the one thing that they can change. They can work on a strategy and they can bring in a new strategy. They just don't want to. They want to buy a company that already has a great strategy for growth, how they deal with people, how they look at profit versus revenue. So you're going to really have to have really good strategies. There's a huge difference too between marketing and sales. And so many people don't really appreciate that. They feel like what they're doing with marketing is often sales. Marketing is totally different, and how we go about attracting new customers is very, very important. Again, they don't want to reinvent the wheel when it comes to marketing. And then sales, of course, if we can't convert the leads that we're getting, it's never going to work out. So the next thing we really want to talk about is our systems. I'm big on systems. I will tell you, if there's one thing that a buyer wants, they want to buy a well-oiled machine. They do not want to come in here and have to fix everything. The first thing and the most important thing is our systems have to be simple. We have to keep our systems kindergarten simple. Look, you got people coming in and people moving on to other careers. We're constantly going to be training, and these systems allow you, the owner, to step away from the day-to-day and let other people help you lead this company. So your systems must be simple. The next thing is they have to be well documented. I like to document at a high level. About 80% of the processes will be well documented. There's going to be some need for checklists and things like that, but the high-level documentation of your systems is going to be critical. It's really important, though, that they're also graphical. You're going to want to make sure that your systems, even though they're documented, that people can see it. We learn in so many different ways, whether it's by looking at something, watching a video, reading it, or looking at a picture. So in order to keep this simple, we have to document them and make it beautiful and graphical at a very high level. And then the most important thing about this, they must be followed by every single member of your team. When they're not followed, they're no good. So why even have them, right? So, and this is something that we can hold people accountable for. They're following our documented processes, systems, and the frameworks and tools we use. So the most important thing that we have to get to, well, I say most important, I think everything is the most important, but this is the one thing that I feel like over my 35-year career and having sold 4 companies myself, this is one of the things that a buyer's gonna look at, and if you can't do it, you're not gonna sell your company. And it's called execution. It is critical, and I mean critical, that we can execute on our goals. It's all about having a team that can execute well. We can set goals together, we can achieve goals together, and ultimately celebrate. But to do that, you have to have a clear vision for where you want to go. And as leaders, it's your job to say, look, this is where we're heading. Every single day, every single meeting is you have to make sure that your vision is clear and everybody sees it. The challenge with this, and this is a real problem, is because, you are the one that sets the vision. And this is the worst eyeball in the world, but this is the vision of the company. But you got team members on this level, you have managers on this level, supervisors here, and your leadership. The thing that we have to realize is these team members, they only see your vision from their perspective. The managers only see it from their perspective, all the way up to the leadership. But if you don't make your vision clear, where everybody can see it, even if they're looking at it from their different perspectives, we're not doing the best job we can as leadership. It's also important that we set clear expectations. Our people need to understand very clearly, with no doubt, how they contribute to the mission of the company. Their contribution and them understanding what their role is going to be so much easier to manage them and support them and lead them and guide them. They have to understand what is expected of them. We also have to hold them accountable. So when they don't meet our expectations, we got to let them know. And we have to let them know in a way that we're pulling them up and we're not just kicking them down, but we have to create a culture of accountability. And execution is one of those things. If you can set a clear vision, set clear expectations, and hold people accountable, you're going to reach your goals. And anybody looking to buy your company, invest in your company, is going to need to know that your folks can reach the goals that they set. So here are a couple of hard truths I want to leave you with. If you're looking to sell your company at one point in time, I need you to listen to me. We build our business to sell a company. Nobody wants to buy a business. They want to buy a company and they want to get a return on that investment. What's the difference between a business and a company? A business is really all about attraction, conversion, and delivery. This is your business. This is any business USA. You attract a customer, generate a lead, you convert that person into a paying customer, and then you deliver on the goods. But a company has a culture, it has an administrative team that really kind of keeps you out of trouble, makes sure that money's coming in, money's coming out, and it has systems and processes. We talked about this earlier, but anybody can own a business. But when you have a company, you have something to sell. The next thing I want you to hear is you can't scale a mess and you can't sell a mess. You're gonna have to scale your company to the point where you're out of the day-to-day operations and you're making the decisions, the big decisions at least, but you have a team that there is to support you. So you can't scale a mess, but you're never gonna sell a mess. So think about that when you're looking at building your company to where it's attractive to somebody who wants to buy it. And finally, we have to look at this from the perspective of the person who's going to invest in our company. We have a lot invested in our companies. We blood, sweat, and tears. We have struggled and we have put everything financially and emotionally into our companies. And sometimes we think of them as like our baby. But they don't look at that. Prospective buyers don't look at it from that perspective. We have to start looking at it from their perspective if we're ever gonna attract people to buy it. Hey, I appreciate you watching this all the way to the end. I just wanted to show you the framework that I use when I work with clients. Some of my clients aren't ready to sell the day one. They just wanna scale their companies and they wanna transform their business into a company. That's really what I work in. When we have a vision in sight for where we want to go and you want to sell it, we have to solve those 5 problems we talked about. I hope these videos are valuable to you. If they are, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Company Growth TV. Everything I do for you is to help you lead your people, grow your company, and live your life.